Welcome to the Tuckcast with a splash of bourbon, where we talk about fishing and life. Presented by Tuckasegee Fly Shop with 3 locations in Waynesville, Silva, and Bryson City. And if you can't make it there or need something fast, be sure to visit flyshopusa.com. If you're looking to experience Western North Carolina waters with or without a guide, visit tuckflyshop.com or one of our locations for more information on booking, the waters we fish, and current conditions.
Hey. Long time no see.
What's happening?
I'm glad we remember how to do this.
Barely. We barely got
What's this button do?
Yeah. It's been an hour and a half crash course here
Yeah.
of Justin loading sounds in and everything. Oh, speaking of, I forgot I was going to play this.
yeah.
Let me turn this down. Play a little background music
There we
while we
go.
talk, boys.
Oh, yeah, fancy
Gotta-
fun.
Yeah.
If I ever start in one of my rants, start talking in rhythm, you'll know why.
Yeah, y'all let us know if you like the background music as we talk.
Feel like a preacher. Well, hey, guess who's back?
Back again.
Back again.
The elephant in the room.
Shannon is here.
I am here.
He's been gone a while.
I have been gone a bit. Since what, mid-April?
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
it's like second
Yeah.
or third week in April.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something like that.
right after Easter.
Start doing all that
Yeah.
bucket list stuff.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Went trying to kill birds. Didn't that work?
Yeah, what you been doing for 6 weeks?
Well, let's see. A lot of things happened.
I know where you're not been. If anybody doesn't
we-
know, you're not been here.
That's right. So we did quite a bit of hunting, quite a bit of turkey hunting this year. Little
You
bit
told
of
us he was having a procedure.
I did have that too. We'll get to that point. There was a procedure. Keep you in suspense. We did some stuff there. Me, Braden, and Alex, we did some stuff. Got some videos up there, which was tough. I learned that it's kind of hard to video hunting videos.
Mm-hmm.
By yourself. It was
Mhm.
very difficult. It's not like when you go out fishing and you put a GoPro in your pack.
Yeah.
There. So I did learn that was difficult there. But we got a couple of videos out. Shameless plug, Messer Branch Outdoors on YouTube.
There you go.
It's
Get
going
it
to
out
cost you
there.
money
Back
next
at it.
time.
That's it. But
99 cents.
we ended up we took a trip to Texas, San Antonio, and around all the way down to Austin and Corpus Christi. And kind of the cool thing about that is we did a mystery rental car and ended up with a Tesla.
Seriously?
Yeah, we did.
How many times do you have to charge that thing?
It wasn't bad. And actually, it was fairly inexpensive, too.
Yeah?
The thing would get up and walk the dang dog.
It would go, huh?
It would go.
Is that what you call that?
Walking the dog, baby. That bad boy would fly. But we looked like the village idiots because we didn't know how to work it.
Yeah.
And the one thing that Tesla needs to do is you've got this giant screen right there. There ought to be a button you hit that gives you like, okay, this is where this is, and this is
Oh,
where
yeah,
this
like
is, and
Like a manual.
right there, a digital manual, because the screen is like
I bet it does. It's got it in there
we couldn't
somewhere.
find it nowhere.
Did you find the horn sounds? Where it makes fart noises?
Yes,
and stuff?
some of that stuff you have to download, and since it's a rental,
Yeah.
it doesn't have all of this stuff there. But it was pretty cool. So if you ever get one, we did a mystery car, so we didn't pay like the Tesla price.
Yeah.
It was either that or the kidnapper van, the transit van.
Ooh.
And the lady's like, I can't do that to y'all. That's what the kids call them, the white
What's,
van.
what's the guy down there in
Candavan.
Florida?
Who?
I don't know.
The Brian guy that kidnapped that girl, killed her in the Tetons?
Oh, yeah, it would have
They
been
didn't
like one of
kidnap
those.
her. They were
Oh,
girlfriend.
Oh, that's
boyfriend.
right, yeah.
But yeah,
Close enough.
I think they did have a van though.
They did.
That's sad.
They had one of the small
terrible.
little T vans there.
Anyways.
But anyway, and then so ended up finally made it to the campus at University of North Carolina.
Yeah.
I got admitted
That and-
to the
Congratulations.
hospital, baby.
Using that GI Bill?
I got admitted to the hospital. No, I had a had a procedure. Went well. It's not cancer. If this could go a long way in preventing that, because I do have a history and I do have a disease called Barrett's esophagus.
Barrett's?
Barrett's. Barretts. Barrett's esophagus. And
Man, how'd you like to have been Barrett?
that
That probably didn't go well for Barrett.
probably not, but I will tell you, it wasn't going well for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Took my dad. Wasn't going well for me, and had a procedure down there, and I'm recovering from that procedure. It was it's kind of a hybrid. If you want to look it up, If you have any questions, it's called Nessen, Nessen, not Nissan, Nessen fundoplication. You can pull it up, take a look at it. But long story short, basically what they did was they took my stomach and they wrapped it around my esophagus and they tighten it and they secure it in place. And what that will do will help prevent the acid from coming back into my esophagus that it has for a very long time, and which one will give me a much better quality of life. Two, hopefully will help mitigate the chances of getting esophageal cancer because I'm a pretty high risk of that. But there is, a lot of, I'd say, sacrifices on my end. Currently, I am kind of still in that soft food diet. We'll slowly transition up to things that will be smaller than a pea size. A lot of gravies, things like that, to kind of help get that down because you don't want it to get stuck. If it gets stuck, they got to do it upper endoscopy.
So can you eat sausage gravy?
I can do the gravy.
Yeah.
Great.
But not
gravy.
sausage in it?
Yeah, I'm not supposed to do any of that stuff yet.
Gravy, 86 of sausage.
Yeah.
You go to Hardee's and say, hey, can I get
I'm
a
not-
gravy biscuit with no sausage?
Not been.
Or biscuit.
Not
I think you can
been.
do that at Bojangles.
Not been. And
You can.
so that kind of, the procedure itself, Dr. Hodge is fantastic. The whole staff at Chapel Hill, UNC Chapel Hill, the nurses in the hospital, top notch, top to bottom. I can't brag enough about those folks there. And but it is a paradigm shift.
Mm-hmm.
With that, I'm down at my lightest weight. When at my weakest, I was around 181. When they weighed me that morning, they said I was at 206. I kind of hover between 183 to 185
Yeah. Now.
now, currently.
So you're saying you were 206 right before the procedure?
That's what they said.
Dude,
you played it up, man. You went and ate everything
No, well,
before.
one of the things they're
It's like
not
a Cookie Monster out there.
not to gross anybody. I actually didn't. I'm still not. I wasn't a big eater prior. You guys kind of knew if we had a meal, I didn't go crazy with that.
I don't know. You did at Smithfield's that night.
No, that was y'all. No, wait, that was y'all. But they go in. And they actually ended up having to pump my stomach because it was full. And the doctor asked Tanya what I'd had, the day prior, because he just had grilled chicken. So I don't know if it just wasn't processing.
Oh, I'd have totally.
the
If it had
food.
been my wife, I'd have been like, yeah, she had some Cheetos, some peanuts. I think she ate an apple pie. Like, I'd have thrown a ton of stuff out there at them.
Oh, man. So I can tell you some things that aren't good pureed. It looks good, but then when you put it, don't do it. There's some things in this trial and error, but looking forward, 6 months from now, maybe have a chance to have a little bit of red meat, but it's going to be 6 months out, and roughly it'll be between 6 months to a year. They said definitely a year before I feel like I'm kind of back to normal.
Yeah.
With this here.
But back to normal, does that mean that because you told me you're not going to be able to eat like a full meal. Does that mean in a year you could possibly eat like a full meal?
No, not necessarily. I will still have to be small portions periodically throughout the day, almost like a grazing type thing.
Yeah.
With it there, and you don't. The other thing that's weird about this, where typically we sit down to a meal, we have a beverage. You're kind of eating your beverage. For me, you want to do the beverage at the end,
Just to kind of push it all down, like help it
just
lubricate.
Not necessarily for that. It's just the way that
Yeah.
it works there. You would think it was for that, but it's not necessarily for that.
Huh.
If you do the liquid, you're not going to be able to eat. Now, my stomach is not any smaller. It's not like someone who's had gastro bypass where their stomach actually is smaller. Mine's the same size. It's just restricted. And so she said, and I quote Dr. Hodges on Friday, I quote her. She said, the esophagus is a very stupid muscle.
Yeah.
It is like the stupidest muscle we have. And mine is very stupidly weak. And I can't get, so it's not, it doesn't know like necessarily when to be doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So it's cool. I think long term it's going to be great, but I was prepared physically, but I wasn't necessarily mentally prepared.
Yeah.
Meaning like at first you don't want to eat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could care less.
Right.
I mean, you don't, whatever. But now I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that looks good.
Yeah, he just got aggro on a
I won't.
commercial that popped up on my computer a minute ago.
Yeah.
so.
Some chocolate.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, that stuff's good.
I want
Need
some.
some
Can't eat
brisket.
it.
I want. Well, like a week ago, I was like, man, I just want brisket.
Our
I just wanted brisket.
our teaser for this episode is going to be tune in and find out what happened to Shannon.
Yeah. I'm still here. I'm
I'm
still
gonna be
there.
like, I had a buddy that went through Ranger School in the Army, and you know they go days without eating, like in that, and they're out in the field and everything. And he said they had this one guy that would like mess with everybody and like look at them and go Snickers.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh man.
So that's how we're gonna be with Shannon.
Yeah.
Well, so we're it's great to see you're looking great. You know, I think you know the weight you've lost. I would never known it. You look great, good and healthy. So, but it's great to see you.
Yeah. It's
So
nice to be seen.
yeah, no, it's really good. It's weird to go weeks without seeing you, man. So after seeing you a long time,
Yeah. The last time you saw me was when I went for the COVID test. I
yeah,
had to go get that
Yeah.
pre-COVID test there, and I hadn't seen Bobby until yesterday,
Yeah.
and Justin until today.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's been a while too.
So for everybody out there that's called or emailed or asked me or Dale or anybody else in the company for that matter, that's what went down.
Yeah.
We didn't want to
Shannon still
speak
work
for
here?
Shannon. Like that's Shannon's,
yeah,
you know, it's
It's
medical
business.
stuff. Yeah.
yeah,
So we were kind of with certain people already knew about it,
Yeah.
but other
Yeah.
people didn't.
yeah.
And so we were kind of vague about it because,
Yeah.
it's like anything with health. You don't always want everybody to know
Well,
until you want them to know.
Well, it is. You're right.
Can you
And
still have children?
I think I gave birth to a 20-pounder when I was in there. I'll be on National Enquirer magazine next week. It's coming, But anyway, no, I did. I've had people reach out to me, Facebook Messenger,
Yeah.
things like that, and I appreciate that. And Steve, not the Georgia Drifter, but another Steve came and visited me down there in the hospital. One of our customers brought a couple magazines in and stuff there. But some people's reached out to us, and it's been very kind and humbling for sure. But we kind of knew for a couple of years potentially this could be in the works. You guys
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
knew what path this was going, and the timing and things there. It was a process. I was hoping to have this done in the wintertime, and it didn't happen, but it's happened, and,
Yeah.
and everything's gone well to this point, and hopefully it continues that way.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's good, man.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Can't guide you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
Just
good
get
point.
out there. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm limited, very limited for a long time.
I was about to say, when can you go fish just personally?
It's going to be a while.
Yeah.
It's
It's kinda
it could
remains
be like
to be
fall.
seen?
It could be fall.
Really?
Honestly, just right now I'm actually at my peak inflammation is what she told me and Tanya. This is the time where you get your peak
Yeah.
internal inflammation in there, and then as it starts to go down, that's when you can start to
Okay.
do more food options there too. But you got to be cautious. But I can't.
Stupid muscle.
So if you look at that, if you look at that image, there's some at the Mayo Clinic and stuff. There's some good images. They're not like video images. You can watch it on YouTube if you want. But
Sweet.
there's a like a artistic image. Let me put
Yeah.
it to you that way. That you can see what they did, and they use braid, and I can't get that ripped apart.
Spider wire.
So, they might have used string.
Some string.
Some of that blue string.
Did you take your own spool in and be like, hey, I'd
Yeah.
like you to
Nah.
use
This
this?
is the only stuff I trust.
I don't think they
This
could.
is it.
They wouldn't have given me
I
a
prefer
discount
this,
either way.
please.
I don't want none of that other stuff. Make sure you use this.
No discount either way. Either way, there. I've had all the the protein shakes. I've done all that stuff. I'm tired of it. I'm ready to kind of move on. I can't guide you. I can't get out on the water. Going to try to start working back in here on a part-time schedule here pretty soon, and start to build up from that. So
Tomorrow.
soon.
Soon. Just when the doc says yeah.
Go.
That's it. When the doc says go. Well,
Nice.
that's cool, man.
Yep.
I'm glad that you're back.
Yeah.
Semi back.
Yeah.
You're semi back.
Well, it's always great to wake up in the recovery room.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Like wake up in the recovery room.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Mhm.
So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah.
it was
I'm
good.
glad it went well. And it went better than what they thought it might. which
Yeah,
is
I
good.
didn't have to have potentially could have had to have a graft
Yeah.
and trying to lengthen my esophagus. I didn't have to, which prevented having a drain tube.
Yeah.
Which meant, we did stay down there. We stayed in the hospital through Sunday evening, Went to the hotel suite at that time, and then we came back later that week. And I'm glad I didn't have to have a drain tube and, of course, have that removed. I've heard the horror stories of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, real quick, let's take one of these quick breaks that Dale's worked so hard on to inform you about something, and after that, we'll come right back.
Let me tell you something.
Hold on, I'm slow at this.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready to make up for some missed travel. If you find yourself wanting to expand your list of places fished, be sure to consider fly fishing travel with Tuck Fly Shop. Travel with Tuck Fly Shop connects you with one of our guides to the world. We are currently booking for 2024 Montana and Argentina. Tuck Fly Shop Travel is connecting you to your next adventure.
Man, Dale, that's quality.
I mean, I hope that gets you excited.
That's quality.
Good stuff.
It is. It
Did
is.
you say Argentina?
Argentina.
That's like that's the
Argentina.
topic of the day, probably.
Never heard of them.
Argentina.
Yeah, they won the World Cup.
Messi.
Is that ones that have them like blue strap jerseys?
Oh,
yeah, they won the World Cup,
I'm
man.
I'm just messing, man.
I know you are.
I'm just messing.
I know. Yeah. So,
Ted Lasso, their coach.
I don't know who their coach is.
yeah, I don't either.
It's probably Messi. He's the striker, the goalie, center back.
He's Booby Miles.
He's the coach.
Go win, you got to put Booby in.
got Booby Miles, man.
So, the main topic of the day is the Patagonia trip that me and Dale were fortunate enough to go on with some of the guys from Big Sky Anglers, and a couple of our friends went and hung out down there. So it was a good time. This was back in March, right at the end of March, early April. Actually, I think we came back on the 2nd or 3rd of April. So we just kind of wanted to go through that. Justin has labored intensively
Yes.
over the past 60 days, roughly 60 days, editing a lot of the video and photos and stuff like that we brought back. And it actually,
9 hours of video from pictures from Bobby,
yeah, man,
3 minutes from Dale.
Everybody played their part.
that's right. Everybody's got to do something. So that actually went live today at 4
It did.
o'clock
It
on
did.
the YouTube channel. So y'all should definitely, and when I say today's May 31st. So if you're, listening to this podcast here in a couple of days, it'll be out there for a while, but forever. That's it. So go check that out. It's like a 9 or 10 minute video. So it's always nice to put visuals with, things that people describe to you. So,
Get you fired up.
so I'm just going to kick Dale off with first impressions of the entire trip. Like,
Oh man.
He's watching the video.
Yeah. So I mean, first thing to mention, this was a COVID revenge trip. Bobby and I were supposed to see this happen back in 2020, and about 2 weeks before we were set to leave, they closed the country the world closed. So, we definitely didn't want to go down there and risk getting stuck, in another country, away from your families in an uncertain time. So we had to put the brakes on it. But so to be there was, to me, kind of surreal. Like you get so excited for a trip like that, get all your ducks in a row, logistically, and then the plug gets pulled on it. You think, oh well, that might have been my shot.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a really awesome trip and a big opportunity. So I thought, well, that was it. It might not be in my cards to do that. That's okay. So Ceci, who runs the El Encuentro social media, we had some chats back and forth on Instagram, and just talking about how awesome it'll be to one day finally get down there. So when we pulled into El Encuentro after we had been at the Brook Trout Base Camp, it was kind of surreal to finally see the lodge in person. Seeing it on a lot of social media and their website over the years, you just hope you get to see it in person, and to be there and see it in person and see it in the elements and the surrounding geography was just unbelievable. And then there's the fishing.
yeah,
It's like, so there's that part of it too. So I mean, that was kind of my first impression, was like, man, I cannot believe I'm on number one, a different continent, and number two, we're chasing some amazing trout, and the people are just amazing. The culture, The people we were with on the trip were amazing. The guides were amazing. So just an all around surreal experience.
Yeah, and it was, it's one of those things that you look forward to. And I even felt getting close to it this year, like, something's going to happen. We're not going to be able to go. And it's always that way. And as business owners, it's always tough to get away, no matter what it is. So when we both go, it makes it even tougher. So before we get too much into the particulars of the trip, these guys are sitting here, but this is a shout out to everybody that works here. I appreciate everybody holding down the fort while we were out gallivanting, having a good time, and research and development, as I like to tell my wife, for everything. So kudos to you guys for handling all the little problems that pop up on a daily basis around here. So I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, it depends on where you live in the U.S., but or in the world, I guess I should say, because this podcast goes to more than just the U.S. But for us, it was a 10-hour flight, 10.5-hour flight from Atlanta. So, it's a little bit of a haul. Most people, it's probably going to be an overnight flight to get there. And then we were fortunate enough to have to just keep going. So the way the flight schedules work down there, when we got there, the time of year we were there, they weren't running 2 flights from Buenos Aires to Esquel. They were only running 1 flight a day. And so that makes it a little difficult because you're wasting a day of fishing if you stay and don't just continue on that day. So we got in, basically did a airport transfer, stopped it long enough to grab some cigars and a coffee, and then we were on another airplane going south even further. And then it was I don't know, what do you think?
2.5?
I think it was 4 hours, man. I think it ended up being 4 hours.
The flight?
No. The drive after the second flight. So the flight to Esquel was probably 2.5 hours. But then, it was probably a 3.5, 4 hour drive to get to base camp, which was really cool.
I said, y'all are feeding us dinner tonight, right?
Yeah, it's like 8 o'clock at night.
This is after I already picked up a bullet at the gas station.
Yeah. So
I never know when your next meal is. So when you see some food in front of you, you get it.
You grab
Amen,
you
brother.
grab a pack
When you're
of
on a
crackers.
trip like this, nothing's guaranteed.
Yep.
They said, "Oh yeah, see," and boy, they did.
Yeah.
So.
But so yeah, it was a long first day. I think me and Dale added up. It was 34 hours of travel from the time we left. I picked Dale up at his house to actually getting to base camp. So with some cruddy in-flight sleep, which wasn't, if any of you ever traveled in an overnight flight, you don't sleep great on airplanes unless you buy the Delta One, where you get to lay down. And even then, you probably don't sleep great, I have a feeling. So
I learned how to use a airplane bathroom.
That's it. Dale's got a great story with that. So. But that's not always the case. It just happened to be the time we were there, and the domestic airline, the way they change things all the time down there. So usually it's a stayover in Buenos Aires, which on the way back, that's what we did. We stayed a night in Buenos Aires. So it cuts the trip up a little bit, which was nice. So, but fishing, man, that's the big topic. Is fishing was epic. If you want to catch wild, large brook trout,
Man.
and when I say large, I mean they're 20 to 25 inches. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, especially that time of year we were there, which late March. That's when they're kind of running out of the lakes and stuff into the rivers. So, they're starting to get colored up because that's fall, being that it's southern hemisphere.
It was weird to see leaves turning.
Yeah, we're
in
going.
spring.
We're coming out of winter. Everything's greening up here, and you're going down there, and stuff's turning orange and yellow, which is kind of pretty cool. But
And the toilets do flush the other way.
you videoed it
Oh, yeah.
for your kids
I did.
that they swirl the opposite
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah.
Just in case you didn't know that, Justin.
Yep.
Did you know that?
I heard it, but I didn't know if it was true.
Yeah. Well, Dale said I didn't pay attention.
Yeah. I wasn't there, so I don't know.
Just rub it in. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I wasn't there, so I wouldn't have any idea about it.
I even tried it out in the sink too. I was
Yeah.
like, "Does this? Is that going the other way?" Anyway, we digress.
So, anyways, the cool part about this base camp, they're building cabins. They got a couple cabins, and they're going to build some more. But me and Dale got the opportunity to stay in a, I call it like a safari tent. Is that,
yurt.
how you-
That's
is that
what they
y'all
called
would-
it.
Y'all have seen the
Is
pictures?
it a yurt?
No.
No, they called it a safari tent
Yeah.
on the.
So it looks like
Package.
a little box with a A-frame roof. But the cool thing is they had
Like MASH.
stick built on the back of the tent an actual bathroom with a shower and a sink and toilet and all that. Gets the toilet that goes the opposite direction, and a wood stove. So that's how it heated the tent, which was cool. And I mean, it got cold a couple nights. We were probably in the 30s. I think that night it snowed. It might have even been in the 20s.
I think it was.
Yeah, it's probably in the. It was cold.
Them puddles were frozen the next morning.
Yeah,
That's usually in the teens.
So it that wood stove worked great, man.
And a little bladder of hot water.
Yeah, they leave you a hot water bladder when you come in. You know, the turn down service.
Yeah.
That was sitting on your bed when you got back from dinner.
Paco,
Yeah,
get your bed ready for you.
that's it. Paco, that was his name. He'd come in at 6 a.m. and stoke the fire and get it rolling again.
Yeah.
Before you get up. That was, to me, that was a really cool experience to have that, where it's like you're staying in a safari town. Now, a couple of the guys, they were in one of the cabins and they said it was great and all, but I don't know, it's kind of that experience of staying in that tent. And,
I've heard they're trying to have all cabins for next season,
which I get it.
but
They can
I
book
like,
it longer into the season.
I like the tent.
I liked the tent a lot. Now, you know, in 30 years, I might like the cabin better, you know, but being in my 40s right now, that tent was pretty cool. Like, it was just a cool experience.
Yeah.
And having the wood stove in there and everything was nice, but completely off the grid. I mean, the water basically is in a tank that heats up on the roof. Like, it's
All solar and
all
wind.
solar and wind power at the camp. And I think what I was impressed most with is you are in the middle of, and I actually described this to somebody. This is the most remote I've ever been. And people are like, well, what about Alaska? Is it more? And it is more remote than Alaska. I actually looked it up, Google searched it to find out to be 100% certain. And all the stuff they had out there is incredible. And the food, I mean, it's fine dining in
It's
the middle of
craft
nowhere.
cuisine.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. I mean, the dishes are beautiful.
Yeah. So,
Craft culinary.
yeah. All the beer and wine and alcohol you want. It's open
Malbec.
bar.
Oh my
Man,
gosh, Malbec on tap.
That's the most wine I've ever drank. There's a couple nights where my glass wasn't empty for 4 hours and I just kept drinking it, and I don't know how much I drank. But I felt fine. That was what's cool about it.
That's what happens in the southern hemisphere.
Yeah.
They just gave you grape juice, man.
It might have been just grape juice.
Yeah.
Do you think they're just refilling those bottles with grape juice and it's
we
not
saw
really
he
alcohol?
does at baptism. We're just giving him grape juice.
Yeah.
They just
First couple of glasses, you know,
loading it up.
it'll be the real thing. Then after that, you're like, it don't taste any different. So
And that's all included in the package is the food and beverage. So just you want to try some different local liquors, go for it.
Yeah.
Spirits.
Yeah, what's
but
the name of the one that y'all all tried?
Fernet.
That smells like medicine.
The Fernet. Yeah.
Smells like
Yeah,
cough
it's
syrup,
a
man.
liquor.
Shannon, you can go down here and try it. They got it.
They
down
got,
here
they
in
got it at
Dilda.
Dilda.
You can go
'Cause
try some.
Santiago-
when you can get back into alcohol.
I don't know if you ever can, but Santiago has a tattoo of the Fernet logo on his arm. That's how big it is in Argentina.
It's a big
So,
deal. Fernet and Coke, right?
Yeah,
You know?
Fernet and Coke's the way to drink it. Fernet de Coke. Coca.
Coca.
I think that's what they call it.
Yeah.
Tall glass and a tall glass. But yeah, it's kind of it's dark liquor, so I don't drink much of it because bad things happen. So, but yeah, it's tasty, and the wine, gosh, can't say enough about that. But
It's good. That was good. But fishing, man, the fishing styles were different. You know, you're like throwing a huge dry fly and pulling it like a streamer.
it reminded me of smallmouth fishing tactics.
Yeah. You feel like you're pulling a popper, but it's just a dry fly or a big hopper or something like that.
Yeah.
For trout. Especially the one, I don't know if we should we say creek names or no?
Nah.
Okay, we're going to keep those. Yeah, because it was all private property that everything's on. That's what's weird down there is there's not a lot of there is a national park, a couple national parks, but a lot of stuff you fish is private. So these lodges, and this is your opportunity to fish, is you have to go through an outfitter like us to get you to the lodge to be able to do it, to be able to fish some of these places, which is cool because there's not a lot of public access. And so one of the streams we fished, I mean, some spots were maybe 6 foot wide.
Yeah.
And then some spots, might have been 20 foot wide if it's like a little pool or something like that. But the majority of it we fished that we probably caught were in that 5 to 15 foot range on a creek.
Yeah.
And when I say that, we caught some smaller fish, but there was a lot of 22, 24, 25-inch fish pulled out in that little creek.
And this was in the Patagonia steppe region. So we actually we were at the base of the Andes at the base camp. And went further east into what's called the Patagonia steppe region. So we saw the geography completely change. Not a tree in sight. I mean, nothing above, 3 foot tall, maybe a bush. Yeah. So, and windy.
Oh my God, it was windy that day.
But man, good 6 weight, you're good to go.
I was fishing a 5 weight that day.
You better man than I am.
Scott Radian, baby, it got it done.
Was that the day you blanked?
No.
Justin brought it up. Hey. I wasn't gonna mention that, dude.
All right, so now we got to mention it.
First day of fishing.
First day of fishing, we get down there, right? I've just told you about how much I've been looking for this trip, and how surreal all this is. Now I get down there, and I hear Justin and Bobby hollering upstream. They're hooking up, in the first hour, and I'm like, all right, this is gonna be good. And then my buddy Buck I'm fishing with, he hooks up, and I get some good video of it, and man, it's just a beautiful. I'm like, oh man, my time's come. It's about to happen. So put the camera away and really start focusing on it. And man, it just never happened. And I was like, all right.
I could tell at lunchtime because we went back to the base camp to eat lunch because we were fishing close by. And obviously you work with Dale long enough, you pick, same thing with me or Shannon, you pick up people's mannerisms. When they're like in a good mood, bad mood. I could tell that Dale was like, you were still in a good mood, but I could tell like Dale ain't having a good day. Like,
you having a good time, Dale? Yeah, this is great.
River's beautiful.
So
did you catch any fish?
So I went the entire day. I had one bump, and that was it. Like the fish wasn't ever really on the fly, and that was it. And it was a great reminder. It doesn't matter how long you've been fishing, who you are, what your name is fishing.
Absolutely.
And so I had to say, okay, what did I do different than everybody else? Okay, I try to eat plant-based as best I can. All right, I'm going to a culture.
Well, that was it.
Of course, meat church.
His diet.
They should have ate me.
That morning, I'm on this trip in this country that their life surrounds by meat, So I was like, all right, I'm going to have to do something different. The only thing I didn't do that everybody else did was eat eggs at breakfast. So by golly, the next morning,
you ate eggs.
He went total superstition.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I made sure I told him I'd never change my underwear either, so he was doing that too.
So, but it paid off, and I landed a monster rainbow on a lake.
I was about to say, I feel like you, just from the video clips and the pictures and stuff, you've made up for it after that.
Oh, yeah, because I quit recording.
Well, no, I mean.
Hey, we're going to take a quick break. Let Dale tell you something else about the company. If I could get to it here, and then we'll be right back with another story about Dale unbuttoning his shirt.
Bobby, I really want folks to know that if you are coming to visit the waters of Western North Carolina, don't wait another minute to book your next guided fly fishing adventure at tuckflyshop.com. Did you know you can visit tuckflyshop.com and book with convenience online anytime? We have guides that are professional, courteous, and knowledgeable, and sure to make that experience one to remember. tuckflyshop.com for your next adventure.
There you go, man. For your next adventure.
Do it.
Do it.
So you said it was at the Andes Mountains?
Yeah.
Did you get Andes mints with your meal?
Didn't they put those on our pillows?
I didn't get that. I'm hitting the wrong button. Sorry.
I
don't know about
y'all, but I want some of them mints.
Old Shannon, he's still thinking about food. My man's starving to death.
Eat some for me.
The one question so far from Andy's from Shannon is about mints, like food.
Okay,
so
chocolate mints.
Oh Lord!
Did y'all bringing those back?
No, but they brought chocolates every.
They put something on the pillow. I never ate one of those.
Oh man, I took them things home to the kids. Yeah,
they made it all the way back.
They did. That's impressive.
That is. Yeah.
So anyways, on the way down, Dale's got an unbuttoned shirt story. That's great.
I guess it's just part of getting old. I don't know, like turning 40 and all that good stuff. But there's some days my deodorant just calls it quits. It just quits working, and I smell like a basketball team.
Maybe you're getting old and forgetting to put it on.
No. So, we're down there in Atlanta airport, and I guess you've been hustling and bustling, getting from gate to gate and whatnot. I was like, man, this is not good. I stink. And you're about to be on a plane, and I didn't want to do that to Bobby, but so I was like, man, I'm gonna go buy this sticky deodorant over here. So I go and they got one of them travel packages of deodorant. So I come back. And I had a Big Sky fishing shirt on from Sims. And it's got the passion snaps on it. So I just unbutton the snap, reach in there, and hit the pits, right? Got the Old Spice rocking. Well, Bobby was talking to me, and I just never buttoned that thing. So I flew from Atlanta all the way to Buenos Aires.
Hung out in Buenos Aires.
And I feel like we might have been in that cafe.
Yeah.
And our buddy Justin just reaches in and grabs my boot. And just grabs it, like gives it a good rip.
He's like 15 hours with his shirt unbuttoned.
He's like, Collins, why's your shirt unbuttoned? Oh.
So was it like a up in here?
No, it was
or
just kind of like mid.
like down
like
in
mid.
here.
Yeah, just
Like
kinda,
third, fourth
Yeah.
button down.
Yeah.
He had it
I
undone.
got
So I just traveled halfway around the world with my shirt unbuttoned,
It's all right.
airing it out.
It's all right, man. You gotta be comfy.
I was. Especially them socks that Delta gave me. Man, little flip-flops that didn't fit.
They don't fit. Us big boys don't. The big foot. I don't know. I don't even think Shannon, because you wear a 10. I don't think those flip flops would have fit you,
Yeah.
man. Them things were tiny.
Mm.
Anyways,
But it's weird to feel another man grab your chest like that, just to let y'all know. So,
especially unexpectedly.
everything's unexpected.
Welcome to BA. How are you doing? One of the coolest things I thought for the whole trip was seeing the guides' rigs and how the guides operate. They basically run trucks similar to Toyota Tacomas, I guess would be the way to put it.
It's a Toyota
Hilux.
Hilux.
They got a Hilux.
Hilux.
Things are so cool.
The big difference is that it's a diesel engine instead of a gas engine, which is pretty cool. Different suspension, stuff like that. Go ahead.
They're diesel, but I believe they're also four-wheel drive all the time, like the Land Cruisers and Lexus. GX.
So the cool part of the truck was the back. So they have like this rack set up where they put a raft frame on the rack, lock it down. They've got a spot for a motor that goes on the back of the raft, lock it down, and then they deflate the raft every day. So if they use the raft, it gets deflated, put back, rolled up, put back in the truck, and if they need it the next day, they unroll it, blow it back up. So it was just cool to see that operation. They also, the guides get a guide assistant that works with them.
The helper.
The helper.
That's what I want.
And part of that
Toyota.
reason is setting up the raft and stuff. The other part is we mentioned this earlier, a lot of it's private land. And you go through gate after gate after gate after gate. And somebody has to get out of the truck, unlock the gate, open the gate.
These are agriculture gates.
Yeah. Wait
So
for
they're not permission gates. It's blocking sheep.
Yeah. I was kind of like, y'all ever heard of cattle guards? Like, like y'all need
Apparently, sheep jump them things. I
They
guess.
probably could. I bet they could jump them.
Count them as they jump. You fall asleep.
That's right. So it's nice to have that guy to hop out of the car, go open the gate, let you drive through, close the gate, all that good stuff. So, but man, they do so much else. So like if they usually guide two people, kind of like what we do on a guided trip. But that guide helper is standing with the guy that the guide's not with, helping net fish or helping you change a fly or whatever. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was cool. And the idea behind it is not just the helping side, but they're hoping to groom these people into becoming guides maybe one day. And it's kind of like a internship, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Or a
Apprenticeship.
That's probably a better way to even put it. Yeah. Which I thought was really cool. That's something that you don't see in the States, or I don't know. If it does exist in the States, I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a cool idea. And, they split tips and all that stuff. And those guys work hard for their money.
Well, it's stringent to become a guide down there.
Yes.
So
the regulations.
the government actually requires the guides go through a school.
Yeah.
And so I think that's pretty smart. So, but there's more and more, the government's in everything down there. So it's very socialistic in that aspect, but it actually set a quality standard.
Yeah.
I think.
In
in
so
this
too.
situation, I think it's probably useful. So
Yeah. And I mean, I think they're just setting that criteria so that the visitors, have a good experience. All the guides, they have to take English classes and stuff like that so that, communication's easier. They have to know bug stuff, environmental stuff, like all that type of stuff. So it's good that they know
gringos can't just show up and guide.
That's it.
That's part of why they instituted that.
Yeah. So it's to protect the economics of it also.
Argentinians are going to guide in Argentina.
That's it. Yep. And that's what they're set out to do. And it's an incredible process, man, to see how they just operate everything and how well oiled the machine is, I guess you could say, from top to bottom. You know, at the whole end of it, we were sitting there, and I think it was Benjamin, who's the owner of El Encuentro. He asked, you know, is there anything we could do, you know, better? And it's like, man, I really can't think of much. You know, like it was pretty incredible how top to bottom, man, it's pretty seamless. So I can't wait.
More empanadas, Pinky.
That's it. Yeah, that might be the one thing I should have told him is, hey, at that cookout, we should have had more empanadas.
Mas empanadas.
Yeah, those things, gosh, those were so good. So, man, I can't wait for us to be able to share this with customers and clients and people that want to go down there. And the cool thing is they have other activities outside of fishing. So, you know, if you're not wanting to fish, what do we fish, 6 days? 5-6 days of fishing. You know, you can go hike in the national park. They've got some horseback stuff. They've got wineries you can visit. A couple other things that I'm probably forgetting right now. So
museums.
Yeah. So there's some stuff, you know, you can go into town and go shopping, things like that. So if you're not a hardcore angler that wants to fish in every type of weather and everything, there's other things that are offered, which I think is pretty cool. And the lodge, we talked about base camp, but man, when you show up at the lodge, it's like you just showed up at the 5-star hotel. I mean, it is pretty cool. And you have to go watch the YouTube video to get the idea of where the lodge sits.
And that's
and I can mention this river.
I was about to say we can talk about that.
It sits on the Fuda Le Fou, which everybody just calls it the Fuda, but man, incredible location. Like it's hard to describe.
It feels like you could just stand on the front porch and cast.
Yeah,
like you could literally see fish rising from our rooms.
Yeah. We actually stood up there and spotted a fish while Dale and Buck and them were casting to it, trying to catch it. So
he was in the perfect spot. There's no way.
He was in between the rock and the limb, basically.
Rock and the hard place, and I didn't want to lose another one of Nikki's flies.
Yeah.
So if I'm a prospective client for this particular trip,
a
couple of questions that would pop into my mind instantly. The first one being, do I have to bring my own gear? And then number two, as far as licensing, since I'm in another country, is that covered through the outfitter down there, or do we have to?
Those are good questions. The licensing is covered down there. I think it was $50.
They took our information ahead of time. And there was always a guide with us that had all of our permits with
they
us.
hold on to all your licenses and everything.
And
so
they checked. We got checked.
Yeah, we got checked on the Fuda. Yeah, and your gear. It's recommended that you bring your own gear.
I'd always take your own.
I would take it. 6 weight's perfect. Rod with a sinking and floating line. They do have rods and stuff, and they will rent at an extra cost. They have waders and boots that they'll rent to you if you don't want to carry those. But you know, one of our guys rented waders. Actually, I think Buck and Justin rented waders, and they were good waders. I think Buck had Orvis waders and Justin had Sims waders, and they were fine. But you could tell in a couple of the photos, like the waders that Justin had, like they were a little baggy on them. Like, you know, your stuff's going to be more comfortable. It just is. And
you're wearing these for, you know, your waders. We tell people in the shop when we're sizing them, your waders and boots determine your comfort.
Yeah.
So the more you're comfortable, the longer you're going to be able to fish. So.
But yeah, I took a 5 weight and a 6 weight and just a 5 weight floating line. And then on the 6 weight, I had was that a 200 or 250 grain?
Yep.
Something like that. Sinking line and then a floating line. And man, it was perfect. Like I could have probably just taken the 6 weight, but I always feel like you take a backup rod just in case you break something.
Yeah. I didn't break the 5 out at all.
Yeah. So yeah, it was 6 weight's perfect. Like that would be the rod to take and all that good stuff. And you know, we do have dates. We have a couple dates that aren't completely solidified, but we're advertising them, and we can get it booked if we get some people in the queue, I guess you could say. So if you're looking for it, I think what is it,
March 2nd through March 9th of 2024. So you know, it's time to get planning on this. Yeah.
So if it's something you're interested in, we've got probably 15 or 20 people that already verbally said they really want to do it. So let's get your deposit.
First come, first serve.
That's it. Get your deposit in. First come, first serve. Get you on it. And man, it was incredible experience.
Now, if you decide you want to go on this trip, you got to have a passport.
I was going to mention that, so
Just-
I'm glad you.
Yeah.
I was going to bring that up. If it is something that you plan on traveling anytime late this year or next year, you better get a passport right now. Like, go ahead and get
It's
the process.
months. It's months out.
It's taken a long time, so it is something to consider if you don't already have a passport. And for all those little, just in case you didn't know, if your passport's about to expire within 6 months, you can't travel internationally. Most countries won't let you in if it's expiring within 6 months. So check the date on that bad boy too.
Yep.
Make sure it's good. I don't understand why they do that. That's weird. I don't get that.
know.
I don't understand the 6 month.
We
thing,
renewed ours, and it took a couple of months just for renewals, and then Braden was a new one, and I think it took about 4 months
Yeah.
to get his.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, it used to only take like a month.
But the hardest part was getting an appointment up here to be able to go submit your paperwork.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We ended up taking Braden's to South Carolina.
Wow.
Yeah,
Really?
because you couldn't get in for almost like a month.
Holy smoke.
We went
Huh?
down there one
Can you not
Saturday.
mail it
and
in?
learned- No, you
Thought
have to.
you could
You,
mail
you
it
have to go to. There's a process to it. You
Oh.
just don't mail it in. Yeah.
Well, his was brand new too. It wasn't
Braden's
a
was
renewal.
brand new.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah,
That was
so-
his. Like, yeah,
Lovely.
renewal's different. But if you have to get a passport, you need to do it now.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah,
got to get one. I've
absolutely.
never had one.
It's just good to go ahead and just get it.
Get it.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
good to have
Go
one.
ahead
They
and
last
get
for 10 years, so it's not like you have to do it that often.
Yeah.
I don't know. How much is it? $100? $100.
150?
Probably so.
Something
Something
like
like that.
It was 150 the last I looked. A
Was
couple
it?
months ago.
Yeah.
For a
So-
new one. I don't know about it.
Yeah. So it's definitely worth looking into and seeing what you think. But anyways, that's kind of the trip in a very quick nutshell. I
Mhm.
mean, we could go
Yeah, we could go a long time.
we could go day by day, but it's browns, rainbows, and brooks. Some lake fishing, some small stream fishing, some large river fishing, float fishing, wade fishing. Like, you kind of get a taste of everything down
Yeah.
there, which is pretty cool. And, different times of year, different seasons. It's just like here in Western North Carolina. If you go out west, weather and water levels and all that stuff are going to dictate what you're going to do, where you're going to fish, all that fun stuff. So, if you watch the video and go, man, I really want to fish where Bobby and Dale were, I can't guarantee that that's going to happen because you just don't know, but you'll be down there and there's going to be plenty of places to fish. There is a ton of water. It's all glacier runoff. So it's all cold water, and it's spectacular. Scenery spectacular, as Dale said.
Man, I remember one of the stream beds looked like Skittles on the bottom.
Yeah.
Like the rocks, they're just so beautiful. The water was so clear. Looked like Skittles. So just incredible.
So it's definitely something that if you want to experience.
No, I wasn't microdosing.
Shannon's like, I want a Skittle.
Coach Beard.
I highly recommend that you do this sometime in your lifetime. It is definitely a bucket list trip. It's not cheap. If you're interested, we can go over all the financials, flights, stuff like that.
Yeah.
We're happy to go through
I think we
all
maybe
that.
should do another episode where we do the day by day.
Yeah, we
So-
totally can.
Yeah.
So, you guys
Oh,
brought
hey,
me
Justin.
you guys brought me all the footage. Said here, make a video of it. Two questions I have just
Oh,
from
boy.
seeing part of it. What was your favorite? Did you like the lake stuff or the creek river stuff that you're more used to? And then what was like the highlight of the one takeaway highlight of the trip?
I would say for me, the fishing side of it is I probably enjoyed the river fishing, throwing streamers.
Yeah.
Because we threw a lot, especially a couple of days we threw streamers. Because I just like fishing streamers more.
Yeah.
The lake fishing was fun, but it was kind of like jigging.
You're staring at a bobber.
Yeah, you're standing at an indicator the
Mhm.
way it works.
But it's potential for a 30-inch rainbow, so you do it.
yeah. I mean, yeah, no, do it. I mean, that's the thing. When you hook into a huge fish, it's pretty incredible. And
Yeah.
apparently there's some 40+ inch browns in that lake,
Oh.
which we didn't see one, but they're there. And, on any lucky day, you might be the one to. And then
Yeah.
the 6 weight might not be enough. Like,
Hold on.
yeah.
Loosen the
But-
drag.
I just enjoy throwing the streamers and stripping them and throwing the sinking line. So we did that wade fishing and float fishing a couple different days.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. So fishing the Fuda, we floated that and threw streamers and stripped and everything. And it's kind of like you cast, you let it sink for like 10 or 15 seconds, let it do the swing, and then you strip it back.
I would
And,
sip a beverage, look around.
Yeah, that's how
enjoy
it was.
the sights.
It's like enjoy the scenery.
You feel it starting to come tight again. Put the can down. Start stripping.
Yeah, that's really how it was.
It was so relaxing.
Yeah, it was fun. So that was good stuff. I don't know about Dale, what his kind of take on the fishing was as far as that.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was so odd to me to smallmouth fish for trout. That's what it really felt like.
Yeah.
So streamers were fun. I think we stripped streamers so much first couple days that our hands were actually hurting.
Yeah.
So it was nice to change gears and hit that creek with the dry flies, and then hit the lake with the indicator just to change it up.
Yeah, it really was. It was like every day was a little different. Which was cool.
And I like their program. I mean, there's certainly programs in Argentina where you can go up and smash 70 rainbow trout on a dry fly if you want. If that's what you want to do, there's those places.
Yeah, they even do two-handed rod stuff. So if you want to throw a spay rod,
this
they can
is
do
a
that.
quality over quantity trip.
Yeah,
We never counted fish. It was always how big was it.
yeah,
And in the words of Stu, you go to this place to catch the fish of your dreams.
Yeah.
And that's
Now that one little creek we fished, you could have had your little clicker. Like we caught a lot of fish that day.
There's probably triple digits. On
Oh,
that
I'd say
one, so.
easily triple digits.
Yeah.
On that little creek, like that was it was like you were fighting through the smaller fish to get to the big fish. It was that type of fishing. So that was pretty cool. But as far as like the whole takeaway, man, I really think it was the people that Ellen Quincho has employed. Man, they are just the guides in general. Man, laughing with them, cutting up, having a good time, learning the culture.
And they were inviting us into the culture.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, we shared in some of their cultural traditions they did, and it was just like, this is what they do.
I think that was probably the coolest experience, and that's for me that I enjoy that, going places and kind of getting immersed into it a little bit, eating the cuisine, the type of drinks they drink,
Passing around the mate.
All that type of stuff. It's pretty cool just to kind of get immersed into it, and for them to be so welcoming. They were awesome. So,
Nice.
Yeah, man. So, well, I think that wraps it up, man. We're probably close to an hour here, so maybe we will do another one where we do some day by day. Y'all let us know if that's something you want us to do, and me and Dale can go into great detail if you really want to do it.
That didn't end up being like a 3-hour deal, but I think it could be useful.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot, but I'm happy to do it. We are going to Slovenia here soon, so that's another one that we're probably going to offer. I don't know if that'll be next year or 25, but we'll see how all the logistics work and what that looks like, but excited to investigate that. That's kind of the plan. That's the next growth for us is build the travel sector. So, get
it's right beside Italy.
That's right. Slovenia is right there by Venice almost, if you know where that's at in Italy. So if you want to see some pictures, go look at it. Man, it's beautiful. Just Google fly fishing Slovenia, and there's tons of photos. So
Marble trout.
Marble trout. They've got marble trout. So if you've never seen a marble trout,
I'm going to eat eggs every day.
So, anyways, we appreciate everybody listening. Anybody else got anything good to say? Shannon, man, I'm so happy you're doing good, man.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah, man.
I didn't know.
I'm happy.
It was pretty stressful.
Yeah.
Honestly, going in, you just don't know, right? Yeah. You don't know, like you don't know. But before I forget, my oldest son got engaged.
Oh yeah. Congrats.
So
Yeah.
Forgot to mention that earlier, but Alex
that's
and
big
Madeline
news.
got engaged.
In Paris.
Yes, he did. He did it right.
He did it right.
My man.
He did it right, man. He did.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great job on the video, Justin.
Yeah, man. I'm excited to see what people think of the video.
Go to the YouTube channel, folks, and check out the Patagonia short film, I call it.
Yep.
Not a video, short film.
Short film.
You put a lot of effort into it.
He did, man. He worked hard on it. And it's probably hard for him, too, because he didn't take the video to edit somebody else's video. That's probably pretty difficult.
Yeah, because I know I had to sit down with, I think, both of y'all a couple times. I know I did with Bobby at least a couple times of, hey, what day was this? Or, hey, was this like this day? And then have to, hey, was this fish, like, was that the picture of this? Or, so
he always asked me who caught that fish. I was like, I did. I caught that one. That was me.
Yep. Yeah.
Nah.
Bill
Anyways.
should have ate more meat.
Well, we appreciate y'all listening. And if I can work this board thing right, we'll get the outro going here. I think that's what you call it, right? Outro.
A little bit more Dale.
All right.
That wraps up another episode of the Tuckcast with a splash of bourbon. For more content, visit Tuckasegee Fly Shop's YouTube channel for instructional how-tos, reviews, and more. For fly fishing articles, check out Tuckasegee Fly Shop's blog at tuckflyshop.com. Thanks for listening. Tight lines.